The Atlanta Falcons are shaking things up early in training camp, and it's already creating some buzz around the roster. From releasing a former second-round pick to managing injuries that could impact their depth, this offseason and training camp phase is proving to be more intense than many expected. If you want the inside scoop on who's in, who's out, and what it means for the Falcons' chances this season, stick around. And before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for more NFL updates, and drop a comment below with your thoughts on Atlanta's moves so far. The Falcons kicked off their first day of training camp with plenty of energy and competition. On the field, players were battling for starting spots, especially with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers looming as their Week 1 opponent. But off the field, the team was making moves that signal a serious shakeup on the roster, particularly in the defensive backfield. One of the biggest stories on day one, the release of cornerback Kevin King, a former second-round pick by the Green Bay Packers who has seen better days in the NFL. Kevin King's release isn't just a procedural move. It's a clear message. This 6-year veteran, who joined the Falcons in 2024, appeared in 15 games last season and even started once. He recorded 10 tackles and a fumble recovery and was a staple on special teams. But with the competition heating up on Atlanta's defensive depth chart, King just didn't make the cut. Now that said, roster moves like this can sometimes be temporary. Players cut early in camp might return later, depending on injuries or roster needs. But for King, this is definitely a setback. The Falcons are looking younger and faster, and the fact that a former second-round pick is getting pushed out highlights just how competitive the defensive backfield has become. While King's departure was a headline, the Falcons are also managing some tough injury news. Undrafted rookie cornerback Cobee Bryant, who came into camp with sky-high expectations, was placed on the non-football injury list, or NFI. For those who don't know, this list is reserved for players hurt outside of football activities, and those on it don't get paid until they're activated. This is a huge blow for Bryant, who was one of the Falcons' most talked about undrafted players this offseason. In fact, Falcons head coach Raheem Morris has been very vocal about how impressed he is with Bryant's talent and potential. Morris described Bryant as the most famous undrafted player he's ever been around. He said even his kids know who Bryant is. That's how much buzz the young corner has generated. The coach has been closely watching Bryant's tape and sees a player who can compete at a high level. The Falcons even called their class of undrafted free agents the 8th round of the draft, a way to highlight just how talented this group is. And Bryant, in particular, was someone they targeted hard, viewing him as an early day 3 pick before the draft began. Morris talked about the recruiting process for Bryant, saying they had to really sell him on the opportunity to come to Atlanta and compete for a spot. And once they saw the tape, the Falcons felt confident they were getting a player who could be a difference maker. Bryant isn't the only Falcon dealing with injury or uncertain status. Defensive tackle LaCale London and linebacker Malik Verdon were also placed on the non-football injury list. London, who was part of the rotation in 2023, has yet to see game action this season, while Verdon, an undrafted free agent out of Iowa State, faces long odds just to make the roster. These moves tell a bigger story about the Falcons' current state. The team is clearly focused on competition and depth, especially on defense. The release of a veteran like Kevin King and the injury setbacks for promising young players like Bryant make the 53-man roster battle even more intense. Training camp is about proving yourself, staying healthy, and making the coaches believe you belong. For guys like Bryant, it's a fight not just against other players, but against injury and time. For King, it may be a chance to catch on elsewhere, or fight for a return in Atlanta down the line. The Falcons will be back on the field early Friday morning at 9:30 a.m. at IBM Performance Field in Flowery Branch. Expect more fierce competition, position battles, and potentially more roster moves as the team inches closer to final cuts. Keep an eye on how the defensive backfield shapes up. With Bryant sidelined and King released, there's a lot of opportunity for younger players to step up and make a name for themselves. The Falcons have made it clear they're building with speed and agility in mind, and training camp is where that philosophy will be tested. So, Falcons fans, what do you make of these early moves? Are you worried about the release of Kevin King, or excited about the potential of Cobee Bryant once he's healthy? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown. Subscribe to the channel for all your Falcons and NFL updates, and share this video with your fellow fans so we can get the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned as we track all the latest news out of Falcons training camp and the NFL world this season.